Why, hello everybody, and welcome back to the Gaming News Show. This week is not that crazy in announcements or news much, but there's still some stories to be told. Let's start off with the very few games that are coming out this week. First off, after 3 years of the game already being out, we finally have UnderTale for the Switch, which this game you can do so many different choices in. If you've already been familiar with Undertale, you can finally play on the go with the Switch and experience the greatness that is Undertale. Next up is a game that I saw on Metacritic that I'm like, oh, that must be very interesting, and that is Blind for PSVR, where the game takes place after you were in a car crash where you, the player, find yourself in a mansion being held captive by an old man, and you must try to find your little brother and solve puzzles along the way, all while you lost your sight from the car crash. And to traverse the game, you must use a tap and cane and throw rocks around to tell where you are going and what's around you. So the first story this week, Sony has decided to upload a unveiling of a mini PlayStation 1. This console will launch on December 3rd, and it's available for pre-order for $99 at GameStop, Best Buy, Walmart, and Amazon, as well as, of course, the PlayStation site itself. And they're marketing just for the hell of it that the console is 45% smaller than the original sold 25 years ago, which I guess they just don't feel like having it be the size of a Raspberry Pi, because you technically can just have it that small, but they rather have it at least something you can physically hold and you can cherish, just to actually be able to see and not just be like, oh, I found this in my sock drawer. Anyways, this system will be preloaded with 20 virtual discs of various familiar classics, many of which are Final Fantasy VII, Tekken 3, and many other great classics, most of which are still unknown, but we may find out closer to release of what these games are once they show off the box art. The console will be outputting HDMI, which is pretty much a given now. If you don't have HDMI, then what's going on? Like, I can understand if they want to go retro, it would be nice to have the AV component cables, but they just decide not to add that feature. But it will be powered by micro USB. But the sad thing is, it won't be having a USB charger, so you'll have to go out and buy a USB charger that has 5 volts and 1 amp, which you can pretty much not find at a dollar store, so don't try a simple charger like that. Just go out and get a pretty much moderately priced charger. But the system will be also supplying 2 original PlayStation controllers, the very first version, that have no analog sticks, so by them doing this, we may see Sony actually choose to do excellent gems that were only workable for the D-pad and weren't really great for the analog sticks, because after all, most of the analog stick games were all 3D games where they weren't sure how to deal with the 3D at the time. So we'll be just doing stuff, probably side scroller or anything Final Fantasy related. The system tray will not be able to open, but the open tray button will bring you to the virtual disc screen, so it'll feel like the 90s again when you need to get up and actually change the game, and then of course choose which game you want to play using the controller. The reset button on the console will allow you to pause the game, and of course the power button will let you turn it on and off. Hopefully Sony doesn't decide to do the same exact bad track record that Nintendo does for their miniature systems, that it's hard to find due to limited quantities of producing, even though the demand is so high, which will end up making the cost stay the same for years, or even make them go triple the price over time because of the rarity of finding them. And as always, you guys can find the articles that I reference in the description down below. The next, not really story, but something I just found on Twitter, was the fact of Square Enix has shown the Kingdom Hearts 3 cover art for the game, and this is very interesting just because the fact of you can actually see how the art will look as the game is coming out soon, which the picture, of course, shows the iconic characters of the Kingdom Hearts franchise looking out onto the city they're in, and I personally have never touched any of the Kingdom Hearts games, but I do plan to buy the 1.5 and plus 2.5 collection that's on the PS4, and whenever I get the time, I'll definitely play it for sure. Speaking of the collection, how excited are you guys for the game itself? So please tell me down in the comments below. Next story is that Nintendo Switch Online is finally live. Yes, Nintendo has, of course, decided to join the gang that Sony and Microsoft have decided for a long time now of having a paid multiplayer compared to PC that's just free because you already are paying for internet bill anyway. But anyways, this service will pretty much make it so that without it, you won't be able to play online multiplayer games except for Fortnite because it's a free game. So why would you restrict the access to play online multiplayer for free when the game is free? But the service does come with an NES ROM emulator, so you can play classic games officially because it is Nintendo on your Switch. So you will finally be able to use also cloud saves for your games, although even on their website it does say only certain games will support cloud saves, and it will depend on if the game developers will enable this feature while they're building the game, which they should already know ahead of time if they want this feature or not. They will not be including cloud saves in Splatoon 2. I know it won't be in Pokemon Let's Go, and then 1-2 Switch for some reason. Technically, you don't even need cloud saves in 1-2 Switch, so I don't think that people care. Also, another service Nintendo Switch Online will be still stupidly using is the damn chat app that is for smartphones. That is for communicating, of course, in lobbies and in matches and everything, which is still stupid because you don't need a damn mic to talk to people in Fortnite, but for some reason you can't plug a headset into the damn system and just start chatting that way on any other freaking game on the Switch. Just makes no sense, and I really hope that Nintendo does better in the future, but one can only hope after all. Plus, you will also be getting special offers using their service, similar to how Games with Gold does their stuff, as well as PlayStation Plus members also get discounts and free games and everything. But as far as I know, that Nintendo won't be doing free games. They'll only be doing discounts and the whole free ROM library after a while. Now, the plans are as follows, of course. For the service, which 1 month you are only paying $4, 3 months you're only paying $8, and 12 months you are only paying $20. The biggest plan is a family membership that'll hold up to 8 accounts for 12 months, which is $35. So technically, if you're a parent and you literally have 2 kids that are going to be having accounts, don't even bother to touch a 2 individual plan because that'll be $40. Just simply do a family membership because you can easily have just the 2 people and just pay $35 a year, which I'm sure a lot of friends will be doing collectively to just be paying $35 a year, which technically per person per year will only be $4.37. So that's literally such a great deal compared to Gold membership and PlayStation Plus. The last story I have for this gaming show episode is that Nintendo Switch Online, as it got put up, NES emulator got hacked. When I found this out, I'm just like, what is Nintendo doing that got it hacked so easily? As even people literally on Twitter were showing off how easy it is to just swap a ROM and whatnot. One user by a name I'm not even going to try to pronounce, shows 2 videos of them swapping ROMs for their own custom ROMs, allowing you to actually get more ROMs compared to Nintendo's original plan for releasing quantities at a time, as far as I know. That's what I've heard. But this plan of theirs doesn't make much sense because these games, they're not like they're brand new. They're literally 20 to 30 years old. So what's the point of actually not letting us have the whole entire library as soon as you have the membership? It just doesn't make any sense at all. He basically tweets out that the ROMs can be easily added because the NES emulator the code is using the exact same coding that the NES Classic uses, which is already easily moddable. If you've already been familiar with emulators to begin with, then it'll be relatively the same exact thing for the NES emulator on the Switch online service. So you can imagine that Nintendo may end up banning these consoles now that these modified accounts will have the extra ROMs. So of course, even the guy saw these tweets for even says, buyer beware, because it's definitely cautioned, because more than likely you will get blacklisted from the multiplayer servers this way. But you would be crazy to think if hackers would be stopped by these bannings, as they would just continuously hack more units as they get produced until Nintendo is pushed to the point where they actually have to take down the NES emulator to reprogram the hackable code. It's just stupid that Nintendo makes such easy code to hack because they feel like just doing everything themselves, when all they have to simply do is buy a competitor's console and just see what they do. Like for Xbox, just simply get a simple Xbox, see how their code is for their reverse compatibility, and just use that same code, because you don't see people literally able to just use that code to run past games that aren't even on the list. But of course, you don't expect Nintendo to just be waving a white flag and be like, hey, Sony and Microsoft, could you help us, guide us on figuring out how to make our online services better? Because then you can easily tell why the service is so cheap and easy to hack, which they definitely need to fix. But to end this show, of course, as you guys know, I like to have some memes, and this first meme I saw on Reddit by the user Why No Potato found in Dying Light a little reference to Harry Potter under a staircase in a house that shows the glasses and like a little wizard hat and everything. Like, it's just so nice when developers put these little Easter eggs in just for the little excitement. And then I saw this other meme which a man did post, where he was debating on returning his stupid watch that he spent $300 on, but this alone changed my mind, which to him was worth it. And of course, he's talking about the fact of, hey, it's a Fallout theme to his smartwatch, which myself included, I've been thinking about getting a smartwatch just for the fact of, like, you don't need to constantly pulling out your phone to be just checking the time. I hope you all have enjoyed the episode, and be sure to comment down below any stories that you are to find, and I will see to it about whether I want to include it in the show. And as always, still, I wouldn't mind having a suggestion for an actual working show title, but at this point, I'm just like gaming news show, as far as I can tell. Anyways, that'll do, so thank you for watching. Be sure to leave a like on the video if you do enjoy, subscribe for more content, and hit that bell icon to know when I upload videos and stream on the channel. As well as, of course, check my Twitch and everything for streaming. So, anyways, I will talk to you guys next time. Bye now.